Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Unlocking AI Potential, the key to data-driven SAP transformation. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm the Managing Director and Chief Architect at Emphasys. And with me today, I'm joined by Ash.
Thanks, Glenn. Really excited to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ashek Manuddin, MDM Lead for Informatica here in Australia.
A little bit about Emphasys. Emphasys is one of the leading SAP service providers based in Sydney, with a foundation of architects and industry veterans. We specialize in architecture, integration, data, S/4HANA advisory services. We are fortunate enough to have an SAP Gold level partnership, as well as an Informatica Gold level partnership, and we are ISO 9001 certified.
And if you haven't come across Informatica, we are a data company. It's a global company headquartered in Redwood, California, and is considered #1 by most customers and analysts when it comes to data management. I know AI is the talk of the town at the moment, but the key ingredient that will differentiate your AI to that of your competition is your data. And as we like to say in Informatica, everyone is ready for AI except your data. That's where we look to help.
Excellent. So today we're not talking about analytical products, SAP Analytics Cloud or DataSphere, SAP BW4HANA, or any other reporting tool. What we're talking about today is the value of your data, which has been enriched by the context of your SAP system and your enterprise, and the value that it holds. In fact, activating that data is what fuels the intelligent enterprise. So what we see is that some SAP customers are moving from SAP ECC to S/4HANA. And it's not just a simple move, it's more than just a move. It's business process re-engineering, simplifying processes, simplifying data models, such as going from a customer and a vendor to a business partner. It's activating real-time insights. It's not just an IT infrastructure change or an adoption of cloud or a hardware upgrade. We're talking about a customization reduction. We're talking about standardization of using a standardized solution. We're talking about organizational change management and employee training. And we're talking about optimization of processes from end to end. That's supply chain and inventory management, as well as ensuring that we have the right compliance and the right governance, risk, and compliance. When we're moving to S/4HANA, we are also enabling the opportunity to use an API ecosystem, a number of third-party applications, as well as being able to build our own large language models and our own applications, which ultimately improve employee experience and ultimately improve our customer service. In fact, we're also enhancing our user experience with Fury and using role-based access. And all of these things are enabled by the data inside our system. Some SAP customers, they're accelerating, and they're not just accelerating by moving from ECC to S/4HANA, but they're also accelerating with a clean core. And what does that mean? Well, it's adopting, for example, SAP S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition or Private Edition or on-prem, and the change, it lends itself to optimization. And one would ask, well, how do you do that? Well, look at what processes are significant or material across the enterprise and identify those processes and those value chains. And then look at the custom objects which are underpinning and supporting the process. Those custom objects need to live somewhere. And so a lot of focus is on optimizing your business process from end to end and putting that custom logic in a place which will ensure that it's stable and reliable going forward. And so moving from ECC to S/4HANA is an opportunity to innovate, and it's an opportunity to accelerate. And one does this by having your S/4HANA digital core, as well as adopting the business technology platform and the apps that can be attached to it. So if we're looking at the platform architecture for innovation, and we're talking specifically about AI here, people say, well, okay, we've got this code that's sitting on ECC. What are we going to do with it in S/4HANA? Well, there's a couple of options. There's key user or in-app extensions that you can do on Fiori. There's developer or on-stack extensions that you can do in S/4HANA Cloud Public Edition. The automated software updates run in parallel, and so your classic extensibility is not available in public, but in private edition and on-prem, your classic extensibility is available there. If you go look at version 2022, there's embedded steampunk that you can activate that. Or you can use the business technology platform and build your extensions on BTP, and you can integrate with third-party apps or SaaS apps or hybrid apps using BTP. And so when you're talking about data and AI and S/4HANA, if you're going to build a large language model yourself, SAP have given you the opportunity to do that. In fact, if you look at BTP, you can build your own LLM. And there's a couple of architecture patterns that are available for you to use. For example, this one on screen that we've got is a single tenant app, which is built on BTP. Additionally, we like to show as much value as possible. And so there's a couple of other opportunities that you have here. For example, if you look at GitHub, there's some SAP examples, and there's some AI core. There's some samples of AI core that you can download and you can use to stand up your own systems, stand up your own LLMs, and use some predictive analysis. In fact, there's even the tutorials. For example, there's this developer tutorial with AI core, and this bootcamp series for predictive AI looks at a predictive AI workflow using your machine learning code to demonstrate how to model predictive house prices.
Thanks, Glenn. I think that's a great layup of the transition roadmap. But I wanted to start with a quote from a tech executive I saw recently on Twitter. And he was announcing some of the new technology capabilities around AI. And he said, without data, you're left with a dumb LLM. Now, that really stuck with me because most of the AI products being shipped today are focused on what AI can do. It's like, can it write better or draw better or solve problems better, right? But here's the thing. What AI will say, what it will draw, the problems it solves, or even the ethics it applies, they all depend on the data you feed it. Now, the same AI model can be used by both you and your competition. What's going to set you apart is the quality and the richness of your data. And that's the competitive advantage. That's your competitive advantage. If you're worried about, for example, disruption from startups, sure, they might come in with great AI tools, but they won't have the wealth of data or the history that you do. So oftentimes the valuable data is locked away in your operational system and spread across different platforms. And that's what's going to be the focus today. So if you look at the slide, I always like to draw an analogy here on sailing yachts preparing for a race. If you look at the picture on the right. Now, what you see there is above the water. And you're looking at the crew, the gears, the knobs you can turn. And that's your operation, right? Now, those bits are critical in ensuring that your business continues to serve customers with excellence. Now, when you're transforming your operation, and you have to get that part right, no doubt about it. But when you don't, what you don't see here is what's under the water. So it's the hull, the keel, the rudder, and that's your data. That is what we need to focus on. Are there any cracks or leaks, or is it structurally sound? Will it hold up when the water gets rough? Those are the kind of questions you need to be asking about your data. So if you look at some of the industry insight on the left, and this is a report Panorama Consulting rolls out every year, and it focuses on or shows ERP projects that are falling behind in terms of budget and schedule. Now, the good news is the overall number of projects that are dropped compared to 2023 last year is actually dropping. And I think it reflects the collective learning as we do more of these projects and likes of Emphasys advising the companies based on those learnings. But interesting though, for those projects that are still struggling, more of them are struggling due to data issues. So 35% causing budget overruns and 46% causing delays, which is about 10 points higher than last year. Now, you could argue that we are starting to tackle the harder challenges, but the trend is clear. Data needs special attention. So Glyn, why don't you share with the audience what typical challenges the customers are seeing out there?
What we are hearing, Ash, is when a customer is moving from SAP ECC to S/4HANA, they focused on the projects, they focused on the capability that S4 has, they focused on BTP and the innovation, and they start their data journey without really focusing on the data or putting enough emphasis on the data. And so ultimately, we even see projects where people are testing a happy path. They're using a golden data set for SIT and a golden data set for UAT. But it's the peripheral edge of the data which is not clean, the uncleansed data on the edge, which is stopping innovation. It's stopping the RPA, the automation. Customers have functional locations that are a mess. They've got duplicate pieces of equipment. Even today, one of my friends had a shopping delivery delivered to their house, and it wasn't shopping for them, it was shopping for somebody else. And so that was clear that there was inaccurate customer master data in that system. And so this bad data, it results in process failure between S/4HANA and 3PLs and delivery firms, between logistics firms. It results in inaccurate allocation of costs. How many times do you see that people allocate costs to a cost center because it's the one that they know? It's not necessarily the appropriate one. And how do you manage that you've got pieces of equipment which are due for maintenance if you're not correctly following up on the master data for the equipment that you've got? So one gets inaccurate cost, inaccurate maintenance, duplicate transactions. And when a company does move to S4, they move to S/4HANA with all this innovation opportunity and capability, but they're unable to take advantage of it. Whereas customers that prioritize their data as one of the most significant steps in the migration journey, they are able to automate and use the analytical insights to make predictions and to improve customer service.
That's some great stories, Glyn. So as I mentioned earlier, maintaining operational continuity during transformation is absolutely critical. But it's also a chance to think about how you can reduce some of the risks that we discussed. Now, SAP has a suite of products and solutions that complements your modernization journey. But what about the data challenges that Glyn touched on? Like, how can you decouple that conversation and put a sharper lens on your data? And while you're at it, how can you manage not only the data in your ERP, but the data sitting in other systems? Like it could be Workday, Salesforce, Snowflake, or even platforms like Microsoft, AWS, or Google, right? What should be the thinking about when it comes to preparing, integrating, mastering, and governing this entire ecosystem of data as you move from your current ERP to the new world? Now, we have a long-standing partnership with SAP and some of the most well-known connectors that integrate seamlessly with the SAP ecosystem. This lets us manage data processes without disrupting the operations. Plus, we can add value along the way by improving data quality, enriching your data, or mastering it, all the while respecting your existing operational processes. So we like to call ourselves the Switzerland of data. We bring together data across your entire ecosystem, regardless of the vendor or whether it's sitting on-prem or sitting on cloud. That is where the magic happens, because now not only you can improve data into S/4HANA, but you can also enrich data beyond just your SAP systems. So if you go to look at the next slide, we've developed a method that's been thoroughly trialed and tested by our customers. I won't dive into this slide, but if anyone is in the audience interested, we can set up a call one-on-one sessions and get our teams to walk through it. But essentially, this is the approach many of our customers with SAP systems are using. It starts by taking data from their legacy platform, then ingesting, profiling, cleansing, and mastering, and finally migrating it into the new platform. I can give you a couple of examples. We're working with a German multinational retailer that's implementing a complex S/4HANA solution to migrate their product master data. That's what they decided to start with. We're helping them reduce the time and effort required for the migration while also delivering faster analytics. In other cases, we're assisting with US-based facility management company to consolidate data across about 150 ERP systems and over 50 product lifecycle management systems, which helps them rationalize their data and drive a successful transformation. We're also partnering with two of the largest AI chip manufacturing companies, manufacturers, to optimize their data landscape ahead of the SAP transformation. But here's the key. This isn't just a migration tool. You are introducing governance, cataloging, and mastering process around the data within their legacy tooling. And you are also continuing to use the process seamlessly after the modernization. So as I mentioned before, you can bring all of your non-SAP data in this journey as well. So which unlocks the entire ecosystem, it democratizes it, it ensures that you have the necessary controls to comply with regulations, protect customer privacy, or maintain data security, all of those that are very important to your organizational needs. And finally, it takes me down to Claire, AI. Once you have consolidated your data to support the new ERP and pull together various other data sources, this is where the real possibilities open up. Your data can now become the foundation of your enterprise AI initiative, giving you the confidence that you fully understand and control your data. Now, you can start leveraging AI within Informatica's tool as well, making it more accessible. For example, we have a built-in AI engine called Claire, which Federico will show you in his demo. It learns from all the rich metadata and all that's and can surface insights within your organization in ways you couldn't have done before. And because you're bringing all of this data together, you're really expanding and not just focusing on a particular slice of data. Claire GPT, another example, is a natural language tool that sits on top of the platform, learning from the entire data ecosystem. So you can interact with your data using natural language, and it will understand the nuances of your data, offering suggestions on how to gain better insights. Now, it can even help you perform tasks like improving data quality as you're working through a data set and say, hey, can you help me improve the data quality or move data from one place to the other? The possibilities can be endless. And again, going back to having that platform that all of your data is sitting on, you basically can, you just have to imagine what you want to do. And it's all because you've now unlocked that operational data for much broader use. Now, we truly believe that approach like that pays for itself because it reduces the risk of delayed or over budget transformation project we talked about earlier, and also at the same time, opening up new revenue opportunities. And we can work it through with you on the critical data elements and build on the transformation journey. Every customer will have their own journey to take and will help navigate around the data risk and design an architecture ready to deliver AI value as you transform. And we can also show you how simple and effective integration can be and how to unlock your data for meaningful AI use. And now I really can get excited about it and can talk for hours, but how about we showcase that through some demo and how they would look like inside the platform. Federico?
Thank you, Harsh. Okay, let me start the demo showing the data governance and catalog module. In this module, we will have a complete view of all the most critical data sets on my organization. So normally we recommend to start every migration project with a data quality analysis, what we call a data profiling of all your source systems. In this case, all your SAP ECC systems. And in this case, what we did is we classified the different results of the data quality rules into the data quality dimension: blindness, uniqueness, completeness, validity, and accuracy. Some of the data quality rules can be built using AI, where it will find the classical AI issues like invalid addresses, empty values in mandatory fields, etc. So, for example, we can drill down on completeness and see which fields have issue with the data quality. And I can see that, for example, I have an issue here that says that the line 1 field has a big percentage of empty fields. So this way I can know, I can react, I can mitigate the risk of this data quality issue during my migration. Another interesting thing we can show is the cataloging. Normally, what we can do also is catalog all the critical assets, data sets. In this case, I have vendor data, product data, customer data. We can classify them into different business terms and data sets. So for example, if I go to business term, I can see business term related to vendor data. I can click one of them and I can see, okay, what is the definition of this business term, what it means, different attributes, security levels, example, business logic, data quality issues we may have, and a stakeholder responsible for this business term. But what is very important during a migration is that this business term exists physically across different systems. So this, I can go to the relationship view that is showing me, okay, this business term is related to many assets, data catalog assets, and one of them is the table fields. That is telling me where is this business term physically located across all my systems that I'm going to migrate. So for example, I can see that it's related to SAP ECC Germany, SAP Ariba, S/4HANA, SEC USA. As we have seen in the presentation, we can see, for example, that in ECC, this term is located into the vendor object, vendor table, in this particular field, while in S/4HANA, that is a target in this case, is located in the business partner table in this particular field. So this way, we have a map of all the business terms related to the physical location of those terms. That will help me a lot during the migration. The next module I want to show is data integration. As we discussed in the presentation, we are going to create a master data management system to store all organization, vendor, material, all master data that needs to be migrated. So what we have in this module is the ability to take the data from the different data sources, the ECC system, basically, but it could be any other system, into MDM. Okay, those mappings are already pre-built, but you can also modify them when you have custom objects. Okay, let me now show the MDM module. MDM is a very important module because it's where we will clean, consolidate, and then distribute the master data across all my systems. Okay, so during the migration is the responsible to keep all the master data, all my customer, vendor, material, location data consistent and synchronized across all my systems. So let me show an example. So I will set for an existing company, Tesla, that is, in my example, is a customer. So it's my customer, but also could be also a vendor in some countries because I also buying some cars from them. Okay, so I can see this business partner, this organization has two different roles, customer and supplier, could be more, of course. And also what I have here is a consolidated view or a unique view, what we call the golden record of created from all the source data where this organization exists. Okay, so this is what I consider that is my golden record of Tesla. But if I go to the source record view, is where I can see the detail of which information are contributing each one of the systems. So for example, I can see this organization exists on SAP Ariba, but if I go to the right, I can see also exists on SAP ECC on the object, on the customer object. It exists on ECC in the supplier vendor object, and also exists on S/4HANA as a business partner. If I open system fields, I can see also what are the IDs, the source keys of this entity of this organization across all the systems. So if I want to search Tesla in this ECC environment, I can search for this ID. If I search it on S/4HANA, I can search it with this ID. Okay, so it's where I have the full traceability of my master data, and also where I create also the golden record, the consolidated view of all my master data. Also, I'm keeping a history of all the changes when something changed. So for example, in this particular date, at this particular time, someone changed the name from Tesla Corporation to Tesla. I can see who changed this, when it was changed, which is the user that did the change, or which system did the change. And also I can, for example, have to show, just to show some other functionalities, I can have the relationship of this organization with other subsidiaries of the organization, or could be also contacts I can have of this organization. Again, normally what we do in a migration is consolidate all customer vendors, etc., into MDM, and then I will use this consolidated view to load in S/4HANA. Let me show how this record looks in S/4HANA after the migration. So I have already loaded the data in S/4HANA. From here, I can open the SAP web interface. In this case, it's a Fiori-based interface where I can see what is the information that now exists on S/4HANA. I can see, okay, this is a business partner named Tesla with this particular ID, and I can see the different roles, business partner roles associated to this business partner. And last but not least, ClearGPT. ClearGPT is an AI-powered interface that I can use to interact using natural language. So it's using large language models to ask any question. So I can ask, for example, technical questions like, show me a sample of data call I can use to create a new business partner. So this is responding this technical question, or I can ask questions regarding to my data. So for example, I can ask where can I find vendor tables that can be used for analytics? In this case, it's searching across all the catalog and it's giving me in which tables I can find vendor data for analytical use. In this case, it's giving me in my demo environment, I have a Snowflake data warehouse and it's giving me this table. This table is being loaded from SAP. Okay, so maybe I want to know the lineage. The lineage. Okay, I have to wait it to finish the search. And in this case, it's giving me the full lineage of the DIM vendor table. So I can see, I can zoom in to see, okay, this data is queried by Microsoft Power BI, it's contained on Snowflake, and this data is coming from SAP S/4HANA in EMEA. Okay, I can expand more and I can see, okay, this data is coming from Informatica MDM, and Informatica MDM is being loaded by the different SAP ECC systems. So that concludes the demo. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Federico. So as you can see, we've been discussing how tightly integrating with SAP and the rest of your data ecosystem can help you better understand your data landscape. This allows you to identify data issues, cleanse, enrich, master, and ultimately move the data into your target environment. And by doing all this, you're opening up new opportunities, whether it's sharing data for advanced analytics or introducing AI-driven innovations. Your data scientists will be able to access data through data marketplace, while your operational system continue to focus on driving the core business as it should. So you now have one-stop shop for all of your critical enterprise data, enriched, mastered by pulling together data from all the relevant sources. But more importantly, as you transition to S/4HANA, you will be bringing in data with a much higher degree of trust and confidence, and you will maintain that trust moving forward. Glenn?
Excellent. Thank you, Ash. So now's our time for a Q&A. Let's have a look here. Here's a question. Where should we begin? That's a tough one. Yes, you need to start with your data, and yes, you start with your data quality, even before you're moving from ECC to S4. But where I would suggest you begin is with a benefits register. And that is it's hard to look retrospectively and look at the value that your data cleansing and your data quality has provided the enterprise. But if you create a register where you record all the benefits, for example, you might have cleaned up your customer master records, which would have reduced calls into a call center or reduced complaints. You can record that, and then you can attribute the effort and the time to the benefit. That would be where I would begin. And I would definitely begin in fixing your data before you move to S4HANA. Question, Ash, this one's for you. We already have MDG in place. Why do we need another tool?
Good question. And if you're a SAP only environment, you may have a point. But almost every customer that I talk to, they operate in an environment that involves more than SAP. And that is where you need to start thinking about the right way of tackling this whole ecosystem. Now, many of our customers have attempted that by starting there and engage with us when they realize they would need a best of breed solution or tooling. Going back to the earlier question, the one advice I will have, start assessment early as you plan for this transition, because you don't want to be finding out later in the process.
Excellent. Another one here, we have multiple SAP and non-SAP systems. Each have a version of the business partner. How do you deal with that? As we saw in the demonstration that Federico had, it's as easy to have multiple source systems and then to be able to identify the key data fields or data elements related to a single material or a single customer or a single business partner record, especially when we're moving from a customer and a vendor in ECC to a single business partner view. It is clear that one needs the ability to identify the fields which are critical and important and to use the right source system for the right field. Next question. Can Informatica solution be tailored to unique workflows and data types?
Yes, it can. And I suppose actually that is one of the reasons you should consider this approach, right? Many discussions around this when I get into this, the tightly modeled process and workflows around your existing ERP system can be sometimes restrictive. So when you decouple your data, you're free to create processes to adjust to your needs. And this could be a sort of a broader problem. When you're considering moving into SaaS, because you lose the flexibility of your on-prem self-contained ERP environment where literally you can do anything. In SaaS, it becomes much harder and often more expensive to tailor. So unless you have an access to tools that we're discussing today that are designed to be flexible and adjust to your data model and business processes around it.
Excellent. There's one here related, not really related to data, but more related to BTP. What should we be putting on SAP BTP? Okay. One can create custom applications inside SAP BTP. One uses SAP BTP as an integration platform as well. You've got your integration suite, but one can also create a custom application workloads which may need to run outside of your ERP system, and so that can run on BTP, or create BTP services which need your ERP data in order to function, such as machine learning and AI. Also, you would probably integrate your SaaS apps and your peripheral apps with BTP back into your S/4HANA core system. Last question, let's take this one. I think this one's for you, Ash. Interested to hear more about Clear GPT. Is it customizable to specific industry requirements?
Yeah, more than happy to send you more information. If you can leave your contact details, we'll get into chat with you as well. But yes, Clear GPT sits on top of your data and it learns from your metadata. So inherently, it is picking up your industry nuances from the terms you use, matrix you're tracking, and the questions that you're asking. I think I have a similar question from, I think, Balakrishnan. Do we have a reference architecture? We showed at a very high level sort of approach or model, so to speak. But obviously, as I said earlier, every customer situation is different. We do have reference architecture modeled across different platform and technology stack, and we'll be more than happy to get in touch with you and walk you through some of those.
Excellent. So today we've gone through data and how it's activating your data enables your enterprise to leverage AI and to leverage AI models specifically built upon your enterprise and specifically built upon your specific business processes and solutions that you have as a differentiator for you to serve your customers, as a differentiator for you to have predictive analysis and for you to understand almost like a crystal ball of what the future looks like, as well as to be able to serve your customers and to let them have a happy, joyful experience by them thinking that you seem to know what they need even before they are asking for it. We hope that you've had some takeaways from the session that have been valuable to you, and feel free to reach out to Ash or myself, and we look forward to helping you, and we wish you all the best on your journey. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.